Hello and welcome to our report on infrared waves. Today we will be talking about what infrared waves are, how they were discovered, what properties they have, how we ourselves use them, and what the dangers of infrared waves are.
So what are infrared waves and how were they discovered? Well, in 1800, William Herschel conducted an experiment measuring the difference in temperature between the colour and the visible spectrum. He placed thermometers within each colour of the visible spectrum. The results showed an increase in temperature from blue to red. When he noticed an even warmer temperature measurement just beyond the red end of the visible spectrum, Herschel had discovered infrared light. Infrared radiation is a form of electromagnetic radiation that has a wavelength slightly longer than the color red in the visible light spectrum. Infrared radiation is created when objects are heated at temperatures not quite high enough to make them glow.
You can detect infrared radiation by the heating effect it has on your skin. Special sensors are also used to detect infrared radiation. This type of radiation is used in electric heaters, greenhouses, and night vision sensors. Our eyes cannot see infrared light or infrared waves, but instruments that can sense infrared energy, such as night vision goggles or infrared cameras, allow us to see the infrared waves emitting from warm objects, such as humans and animals. Such instruments can be used to photograph stars and galaxies in outer space. However, the images captured appear different to those looked at in the visible spectrum. For example, these of our galaxy, the Milky Way, first in infrared and then in the visible spectrum, appear differently.
Within the electromagnetic spectrum, the wavelength of infrared is shorter than microwaves and longer than the color red in visible light. The wavelength of infrared radiation ranges from 0.75 micrometers to 1000 micrometers. Infrared radiation has the same properties as visible light, being reflected, refracted, and capable of forming an interference pattern.
We do not notice it, but we use infrared radiation in our everyday lives. For example, a remote control uses light waves, just beyond the visible spectrum of light, infrared light waves, to change the channels on your TV. This region of the spectrum is divided to near, mid, and far infrared. The region from 8 to 15 microns is referred to by Earth scientists as thermal infrared, since these wavelengths are best for studying the long-wave thermal energy radiating from our planet. Remember this next time you change your channel on your TV.
Imagine holding your hand next to a hot stove. When you do that, you feel the heat radiating off of the stove and travelling towards your hand. If our eyes could see infrared radiation, what would this look like? You would see anything that produces heat, including plants and animals, no matter how dark it was. On average, the sun produces very little infrared radiation compared to the amount of ultraviolet radiation and visible light that it creates. Thermal cameras and night vision goggles are just two of the many ways that infrared radiation contribute to our everyday life.
Infrared radiation isn't particularly dangerous. However, there are small dangers. For example, infrared heat can burn you. It will not hurt if you put your finger over the remote when pressing a button, because that's only a small quantity of it.
Thank you for watching our presentation on infrared waves. We hope you found it informative and useful.